If you're listening to this recording, do not go looking for us. The forest doesn't let people leave. It only lets them stay. The audio ended with a loud scream, then silence. 3 weeks later, our group found that recording on an old camping radio, and that's when our nightmare began. My name is Ethan Carter, and this happened in October of 2025. There were 5 of us. Me, my girlfriend Sarah, my best friend Jake, Jake's younger sister Emily, and our friend Ryan. We wanted one last camping trip before winter. Ryan suggested a place called Blackwood Forest. The strange thing was that none of us had heard of it. I found it online, Ryan said. The photos looked beautiful. Massive pine trees, a small lake, and abandoned hiking trails. It seemed perfect. We drove 6 hours to get there. As we entered the forest road, every phone lost signal. No service already? Emily asked. Jake laughed. That's what makes camping fun. But something felt wrong. There were no other cars, no campers, no signs, just endless trees. After another 20 minutes, we reached a clearing. In the middle of it stood an old wooden sign, "Welcome to Blackwood Forest." Underneath it, someone had carved, "Don't stay after dark." Ryan laughed. Somebody's idea of a joke. I wasn't laughing. We set up our tents beside a lake. The place was beautiful. Almost too beautiful. There wasn't a single bird, no insects, no animal sounds, just silence, an uncomfortable, heavy silence. As the sun began to set, Emily pointed toward the trees. Did you guys see that? What? Someone standing over there. We looked. Nothing. She frowned. I swear there was somebody. Ryan smirked. Ghosts already? She rolled her eyes. We started a campfire. The night became colder than expected. Around 9 o'clock, we heard footsteps. Crunch, crunch, crunch. They came from the darkness beyond our camp. Jake grabbed his flashlight. Hello? No answer. The footsteps stopped. Then came a voice. A little girl's voice. Help me! Emily's face turned pale. Did you hear that? The voice came again. Please help me. Sarah stood up. Oh my God, there's a kid out there. I grabbed her arm. Wait. Something felt wrong. The voice sounded strange, like it wasn't crying, like it was trying to sound scared. Ryan walked toward the trees. I'm going to check. The moment he reached the forest edge, the voice stopped. Silence. Then another voice came from deeper in the woods. An adult woman. Ryan. He froze. Who's there? The woman spoke again. Ryan. Come here. Ryan's face turned white. That's my mom's voice. Everyone looked at him. His mother had died 2 years earlier. The voice came again. Ryan. Then another voice called from the opposite side. Ethan. My blood froze. It was my father's voice. My father was alive, but he lived 3 states away. I knew he wasn't here. Then Sarah gasped. She heard her sister's voice. Emily heard her grandmother. Jake heard his dad. The forest was speaking to all of us, using voices we knew. Come here. Help me. We need you. The voices surrounded our camp, coming from every direction. Ryan suddenly stepped forward. I'm going. I grabbed him. No. He looked terrified. But that's my mom. No, it isn't. The voices became louder. Ryan. 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 Then, crack. A branch snapped behind us. We turned. A person was standing beside the lake. At least, I thought it was a person. It was incredibly tall. Too tall. Its arms almost touched the ground. Its face was hidden behind the darkness. Then it smiled. A huge, unnatural smile. Emily screamed. The thing stepped backward into the trees and disappeared. Nobody slept that night. because we realized something horrible. The voices had stopped, but we could still hear breathing from somewhere outside our tents, and it stayed there until sunrise. Part 2. The Watchers in the Trees. None of us slept. The breathing outside the tents continued all night. Slow, heavy, as if something enormous was standing only a few feet away. When the sun finally rose, the sound stopped. Jake unzipped his tent and stepped outside. What the? We all came out. Around our campsite were footprints. Hundreds of them. Not animal tracks. Human footprints. Bare feet. They completely surrounded our tents. But there was one terrifying detail. Every footprint pointed toward us, as if dozens of people had stood there all night, watching. Emily started crying. We need to leave. Right now. Nobody argued. We packed our things in less than 10 minutes and headed for the car. But when we reached the road, we all froze. The road was gone. The place where we'd parked the car was empty. No road, no tire marks, nothing. Just more trees. Ryan's face turned pale. This isn't possible. We searched everywhere. The car had simply disappeared. Sarah whispered, I think we're lost. No, I said. We walked in a straight line, but the forest had changed. The trees looked different. The path we used yesterday no longer existed. That's when we heard it. A whistle. Short, sharp, coming from deep in the woods. Then another, and another. Someone or something was signaling. Jake shouted, Who's there? No answer. Instead, the whistles began moving, circling us. Closer, closer. Then they stopped. Silence. And from behind a tree, someone stepped out. A little girl. She couldn't have been older than 8. She wore an old white dress covered in dirt. Her hair hung over her face. Are you lost? She asked softly. Emily sighed with relief. Oh, thank God. There's actually someone here. But I wasn't relieved. The girl was barefoot, and her feet were covered in mud, exactly like the footprints around our camp. Where are your parents? I asked. She slowly looked up. Her eyes were completely black. No whites, no pupils, just black. We've been waiting for you, she said. Then she smiled, a horrible, unnatural smile. Ryan grabbed Emily's arm. Run. The little girl suddenly screamed. A deafening, inhuman scream. The trees around us exploded with movement. Figures stepped out from behind the trunks. Dozens of them. Men, women, children. All smiling. All with black eyes. All barefoot. They simply stood there, watching us. Run! I shouted. We sprinted into the forest. Branches slapped our faces. Emily was crying. Sarah kept looking behind us. They're following us. I turned. The people weren't running. They were walking. Slowly, but somehow they kept getting closer, no matter how fast we ran. After several minutes, we stumbled into another clearing. In the center stood an old wooden cabin. The windows were broken. The roof was partially collapsed, but it was shelter. We ran inside and slammed the door shut. The smiling people stopped at the edge of the clearing. None of them entered. They simply stood there, watching. Then, one by one, they disappeared back into the trees. Nobody spoke for several minutes. Finally, Ryan whispered, What are they? No one answered. Then Emily noticed something. There were pictures hanging on the cabin wall. Old black and white photographs. Families, campers, hikers, hundreds of photos. And every single person in them had black eyes. Sarah picked up a newspaper clipping from the floor. The date was 1987. The headline read, 5 campers disappear in Blackwood Forest. Another clipping. Search team never returns. Another. 13 missing since 1962. There were dozens of articles. People had been disappearing here for decades. Maybe longer. Then Jake found a journal. Its pages were yellow with age. On the first page was written, "The forest takes your voice first, then your memories. Then you become one of them." A chill went through me. I turned the page. Do not follow the voices. Do not stay after dark. And if you see the smiling people... The writing suddenly became shaky, almost unreadable. Do not let them touch you. At that exact moment, bang! Something hit the cabin door. Everyone jumped. Bang! Another impact. Then another. Someone or something was outside. Then we heard a voice. Open the door. It was my voice. Exactly my voice. Sarah looked at me in horror. Then another voice came. Jake's voice. Please let us in. Then Emily's voice. Then Ryan's. Dozens of copies of our own voices began speaking outside. We're cold. Please open the door. Let us in. The voices turned into laughter. A horrible, distorted laughter. Then silence. A few seconds later, we heard footsteps on the roof. Slow, heavy, walking above us. Then something began scratching. Scratch, scratch. A piece of the ceiling suddenly broke. Dust fell onto the floor. And through the hole, I saw a face, a smiling face, staring directly at us. Then another face appeared, and another, and another. They were crawling across the roof, watching us, waiting. And outside, the sun was beginning to set.